Ultimate DeathKnight, or UDK for short, a brand new legendary champion, is now available to be picked up by every player in Raid Shadow Legends who creates a new account or previously playing the game for 7 days. Log in and you'll be able to get this champion for absolutely free. So in this video, I want to take a look at his skills, take a look at his abilities, see where I'm going to be using him, and I'll be very, very honest about this champion review. It's not yet available in the game, as in nobody has it yet until we all log in for 7 days to get it. So we can't really do a playtest to see him in live action until 7 days. So look out for that when it's going to be released. So straight up, let's head over right there to this champion. I'll first of all pick up my reward for the first day, which is this regen set, or what they call it. So if you log in right there, you can see your reward daily. Log in even if you're not playing the game, even if you skip a day, no problem, as long as you do it before October the 27th, close to my birthday. All right, that's a long time. So these rewards come in often in raid, or not quite often. The first one I think was Ninja, then we have Alexander, we have Deliana, and now we have Ultimate DeathKnight. This is not a brand new champion like all these other three I mentioned. This is a champion that already existed in the game as a common champion in the Undead faction. So if you scroll over down there right now, DeathKnight is still available right there, HP, but now we have a legendary version of him. Where is it? Is he no longer from this faction anymore? Oh, right there. So we have 2 copies of DeathKnight in the game now. Does that mean his name changed? No. One is DeathKnight, one is Ultimate DeathKnight. So that's the difference between the two. I thought the other old DeathKnight would just be upgraded into this new one and he would disappear from that slot. So we still do have a DeathKnight at the bottom right there. So, but his avatar a little bit changed, I think. Did they do something with this avatar? It looks a little bit different than what I used to see it as. So what's this champion all about? I want to see if it's going to be useful for the noob to pro. Yes, I'm currently logged into the noob to pro, so these reviews will be done from the angle of a new player who is coming into the game. So straight up from the design, I don't think it's anything special in terms of how he looks. Fine, he's still a skeleton, but his shields and everything just looks a little bit more shinier. He's no longer using bronze stuff. He's looking a little bit more gold and, you know, rich and shiny. A rich skeleton. So from the skill, it's still loading up, so we can't really see the pictures, but it's available right now in the game. If you play, you will be able to see the skills. On the A1, let me see if this champion is good for a newer player. First of all, has a 30% chance of placing provoke debuff for 1 turn. That's always a good thing when you have an A1 that can do something, not just hit. Provoke on the A1 is good, and if you book it up, it will be a 50% chance of placing that provoke. The chance increases to 55% against legendaries, which means it's going to be up to 75% of placing provoke on legendary champions. That means this champion, they want you to use him in maybe high dungeon content or high arena content where you have a lot of legendary champions right there. On the A2, attacks all enemies, has a 80% chance of placing decreased attack. A AoE skill like this that does something is also good. It's not just hitting, and decreased attack is a skill that you need in the early game and late game. Every content needs decreased attack, whether you're doing clan boss, whether you're doing dragon, whether you're doing fire knight. Every content, every boss out there needs decreased attack so they can hit less harder, especially in those early dungeon waves. Not having decreased attack on those hoardings makes them take down your kill, take down your starter champion really fast. So this champion will be essential, beneficial to a lot of players who are coming into raid for the first time. Having decreased attack like this will be awesome for those dragon or dungeon waves, even in the potion keeps where they hit so hard. So decreased attack on this AoE skill is awesome, and it's also on a 3-turn cooldown. It doesn't just place only decreased attack though. It also has a 80% chance of placing fear. That's a high chance. It's 100% against legendaries when you book this champion up. Since he's a legendary champion, getting these books for this early game will be difficult, but this skill is not worth booking, I'll tell you right now. But if you're going to be facing a lot of legendaries, book it up. Have this fear ready for the next wave. Because a 4-turn cooldown is not that bad. 5-turn cooldown is bad, but 4-turn cooldown is not that bad when you don't have books in the early game. So use this champion without books. But is it worth booking? Yes, 3-turn cooldown is even better than 4-turn cooldown. Alright, on the A3, this is the skill that I don't know yet know about this champion. Places a shield buff and a 15% continuous heal on all allies for 2 turns. So he's a champion that places shield. The value of the shield buff is proportional to this champion's defense. This is awesome. This is awesome. I can think of, is it Valkyrie? I think it's Valkyrie that places shield based on her defense. So I can already compare him to this. I don't know whether his multipliers will be as high as our own though, in terms of the shield she places, but placing shield based on HP is good. Placing shield based on defense is even better, because that champion will be so tanky. I'm talking about 5k defense, 4k defense, 7k defense for endgame players. But if you're a newer player, if you can get up to 2k defense, 2.5 defense, even 3.5 defense is awesome. So already I can tell that most players will be trying to use this champion in their early game clan boss, because of shields are good, and continuous heal on all allies is good to keep them alive when you don't yet have War Master yet, or you're still working on your early masteries. So a shield champion, I can think of Brogni is already my shield champion in my endgame account, but he comes in here to help you not just place provoke but also place shield, which is awesome. So he's making the enemies do less damage and making your allies take less damage, which is good. Passive, 2 passives, that's strange. Whenever an ally is attacked, has a 100% chance of completely blocking 1 hit. I can already think of Sepulchre Sentinel, who has this skill already in raid and is awesome. The chances, 100% chance of blocking 1 hit whenever an ally is attacked. So it happens every time. Decrease the incoming damage to 0. Yes, that's what Sepulchre Sentinel also does, but I don't think it's a 100% chance of it happening. It's a lower chance on Sepulchre. This champion will receive that damage instead. Okay, that's bad. Sepulchre does not receive the damage. She just blocks it from one ally entirely. So he will receive that damage because he has enough defense to chest it, so there is no problem. He will not be going down. The chance decreases to 50% if the attacker is a boss. Okay, against bosses, the 50% chance does not work if the attack on the ally was an AoE. So it doesn't work on AoE hits. Sepulchre Sentinel's passive works against AoE hits. So when you get, I think so. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Sepulchre's own works on AoE. Or let me quickly go check right now. She belongs to the Night Rev faction. Let me not guess right now. Sepulchre Sentinel, where is she? On her passive right there. 25% chance of completely blocking incoming damage. Can be booked up to how many percent? 35%, 40%, 50% chance. So our own is on a very low chance of blocking it. Incoming damage when ally is attacked occurs once per turn. So that's the difference between DeathKnight's blocking attack and Sepulchre's own. It's quite similar, but DeathKnight's own is definitely better because he's a legendary champion, and his own has other stuff. It also works against bosses. I don't think. See, Sepulchre Sentinel's own does not specify whether it works against AoE hits or not, but his own does not work against AoE hits. So it's only single attacks that he can completely block from one ally, while Sepulchre can actually block AoE attacks from one ally. The chance decreases to 50% against bosses. Does not work if the attack on the ally is an AoE hit. Whenever an enemy is healed, heals this champion by 20% of that heal. Whenever an enemy is healed, heals this champion by 20% of that heal. So he will be healing himself in battle. A lot of enemies don't do a lot of heals, but I can think of some bosses who heal a lot, so he will be healing himself and he doesn't need to keep himself alive for that. All right, on the aura, increase in all battles. Ooh, that's awesome. Defense, 30% increase defense. Because it's a legendary, you don't expect it to be 25% like epics. So 30% increase defense in all battles is awesome. That means he's not limited to be used as a leader slot in any particular location. You can put this champion as your leader slot in almost every battle, except you want speed instead. So total stat, I can see 20k HP is good. 1.4k defense is awesome. Speed 97 is all right, and nothing special about that, but the HP and defense calls out to me because he needs it. Is there any skills yet for this champion? Not yet. So Ultimate DeathKnight, welcome to Raid Shadow Legends. I'll be getting him in 7 days, and I'll take him to 60 immediately, and I'll build him on this channel to show you him in battle. So right now we can't do any playtest. We can just only speak for his his skills and say whether he's good or not. And I can tell you right now, if I was to rate this champion from a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give this champion a 7 right now. A 7. Why? Because for progression, for early progression right now, he will come into my teams. It's not a champion I'll pull on the noob to pro and keep in the vault like we did for Alexander, right? We pulled Alexander and we throw that champion in the vault. We only used him in faction wars or something. But Ultimate DeathKnight is a champion that we will pull and use him in battle immediately. So that's what I think about this champion. So Ultimate DeathKnight, welcome to the Welcome to Raid Shadow Legends. Let me know what you think about this champion. All the hype that was made about him, I was kind of skeptic. I was like, if Raid does all this hype about this champion and then finally he's not good enough, he's not a champion that we want to use. If it boils down to the fact that he becomes a void guard, it would be very bad. But I'm glad that they lived up to the expectation and they made this champion useful at least for the early, mid game, and maybe even up to end game because of that shield and AoE decrease attack, those two things. What content can you use this champion besides dungeon for the early game? For end game players, for my main account where I have a lot of legendary champions, I don't need him. I have better decrease attack champions who do something else more than just shield. Will I be using him for content? The only place I can think of using him in content is maybe the Hydra. For my end game account, I can think of maybe the Hydra, because you need champions who can do AoE decrease attack right there, and also fear is not needed in that battle, but at least he comes in with that shield. So because of those two things, the heals that he does, well, the Hydra heads don't heal, and he can't even block damage against them, but that's the two things he brings to that battle, shield and Hydra. Because if you have Brogni in one team already, right, doing work, shielding your champions, keeping them alive, you need another shield champion in your second team. That's where I think I can use him if you already don't have another champion for your second team for the Hydra. For endgame content, he doesn't really Doom Tower waves, maybe in a shield set to even be more tanky. So we'll wait until 7 days to have this champion in the game before we can test him out. Now, if you're going to be pulling this champion in 7 days, you might want to wait to use this promo code, but I'm going to use it right now. I don't know how long this promo code is going to be lasting, but I'm thinking it should last for the entire duration of this promo. I'm thinking up to the 27th of October. So any player who is getting Ultimate DeathKnight or coming into the game can use this promo code DK Rises right there. DK Rises. And confirm, and you get these awesome rewards right there. Let me go to my inbox and show you what I got. 50 brews just for Ultimate DeathKnight to get him to 50 quick, so you can maybe level him to level 60, and superior ones also, so you can also get his get him ascended also. 50k gold is not going to help you with anything, but at least that's a start. It also doesn't give us any energy, which is kind of weird, but this is what you need to level up this champion once you got him today or in 7 days. And so I just wanted to log in this morning, give you my review of this champion, tell you what I think honestly about him, because all the hype that has been going up, I was kind of skeptic about him all this time. I was thinking he's going to be a vault guard, but I can tell you right now, I'll rate him a 6 or a 7 out of 10, and he's going to be used on this Noob to Pro series, definitely for sure, in 7 days when we finally get him. If you did not know, this series started with the aim of getting to Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss with a killable team, and so far the only legendary we have is Deliana. So we are kind of glad to have a new one joining us. He's not gonna be replacing, maybe who is gonna be replacing in my team? Maybe my Rector Dra. If he's provoking enemies, putting decrease attack on them, I will not be taking so much damage. Right now I run Rector Drat and I run Apothecary in the same team for speed boosting and heals. But if you have decrease attack on them, and you have provoke on most of them on the A1, and you have fear on them also if they are legendary champions, I will not most likely be using a revive champion, except in some battles where somebody is going down. So he is a champion that will be tanking, helping me tanking most of the hits and keeping my team alive with those big shields. So I hope to use this champion, build him in high defense, and show you in battle in 7 days. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe to the channel so you can see when I post that Ultimate DeathKnight or UDK review video in live action. Later, guys.